Welcome back to the channel. Did you know in the United States in 1968, Coast Guard members in Maine reported glowing red lights above Devil's Bay? A rescue vessel vanished while pursuing them, and its crew was never recovered. To this day, locals whisper that the bay itself still takes those who grow too curious. This is the story of the Red Lake Lights, a story that has never ended. The coast of Maine is a place of beauty and danger. Rugged cliffs crash against the Atlantic, tides rise and fall with merciless strength, and the fog endless, suffocating rolls. And without warning, for centuries, sailors have feared its shores. Wrecks litter the ocean floor, their bones picked clean by time and tide. But Devil's Bay, that was something else. Even among the hardened men of the sea, Devil's Bay was spoken of in whispers. Its waters were unnaturally calm, too calm at times, and its fog seemed thicker, heavier, as if it hid something. Some said the bay was cursed, others claimed it was a doorway. Old fishermen muttered that the ocean was alive there, that it noticed legends stretched back long before America itself. Native tribes warned of fire eyes in the water, red lights that lured hunters and fishermen away. Colonial settlers reported ghostly lanterns drifting across the bay, only to vanish when followed. Families told their children not to swim, not to listen when the fog called their names. Old maps of Maine often left the area blank, a stretch of coast avoided even by cartographers. One weather chart from the 1800s bears a warning inked in the margin: waters unnatural, do not enter after dark. By the 20th century, most considered these tales nothing more than folklore. But all that changed in February 1968. On February 14, 1968, Rockland Coast Guard Station received multiple frantic reports. Fishermen claimed to see glowing red lights rising from Devil's Bay, moving in circles, dipping beneath the surface, then reappearing farther away. Some thought it might be a downed aircraft. Others feared flares from a ship in distress, cutter. Hash 129 was dispatched with 6 men aboard. Ensign Matthew Clark, 27, newly married, eager to prove himself. Chief Boatswain Harold Grier, 41, a veteran with decades of experience. Petty Officer Donnelly, 32, a father of 3, steady-handed. Petty Officer Markham, 28, often joked to hide his nerves. Petty Officer Tate, 25, a man of quiet faith who carried a small Bible. Seaman Recruit James Pike, 19, young and eager but inexperienced. They left harbor at 11:47 p.m. under calm seas. Clark recorded in his logbook: before departure, locals say fires in the water. Likely flares or drunk eyes, still we'll see. At 12:31 a.m., his final transmission was logged, lights 3 of them. Circling the boat, they're not else. Static moving against the wind. Jesus Christ, the radio went silent. Search crews tried raising them. No reply. By morning, cutter number 129 had vanished. The disappearance of cutter number 129 launched one of the largest local search efforts in Maine's maritime history. For 6 days, aircraft, patrol boats, and divers combed the bay. The ocean yielded nothing, no wreckage, no oil slick, no bodies. It was as if the cutter had never existed. On the 7th day, fisherman Elias Brewer reported seeing a ship in the fog, its silhouette unmistakably a Coast Guard vessel. But when he approached, it dissolved into mist. It was there, he later insisted, then gone, like the sea swallowed it whole in one gulp. The official explanation closed the case quickly: mechanical failure and poor visibility. But the families never believed it. Margaret Clark, Matthew's wife, spent 3 nights on the dock, staring into the fog. She claimed she saw red glows moving far out at sea, like lanterns drifting, though no one else saw them. Thomas Grier, Harold's brother, traveled from Boston to demand answers. He began keeping his own journals, recording every story he heard about the bay. His notes are still referenced today by folklorists. James Pike's mother left his bedroom untouched. For decades, when asked, she would say only the lights called to him. They won't give him back. The case file was quietly shelved. But in Devil's Bay, stories spread. In 1972, 4 years after Cutter Number 129's disappearance, a small pleasure craft drifted ashore near Camden. Its owners, brothers Daniel and Robert Keene, were gone. Below deck lay a waterlogged notebook. Its last entry read, "The lights came again last night. Red, pulsing, alive. We followed. God help us, we followed." The writing ended mid-sentence. The rest of the page was smeared beyond recognition. The Coast Guard confiscated the notebook. It never appeared in official archives, but locals told and retold the story until it became part of the legend. By the 1980s, people began calling the phenomenon the Red Lake Lights. The name spread among journalists and amateur investigators. It drew outsiders to Maine, curious to see for themselves. In 1987, 3 college students, Laura Mitchell, Kevin Hartwell, and Eric Rhodes, set out to document the lights for a student film project. Their boat was found adrift 2 weeks later. Cameras remained, but the students were missing. The recovered tapes revealed hours of fog and waves. But near the end, red orbs appeared on the horizon. Kevin's voice gasps, they're here." Then comes a faint whisper, "Don't. Follow them. Don't look too long." The whisper was distinctly female. None of the students were female. More people came forward over the years. Captain Howard Briggs, retired Coast Guard, interviewed in 1991, "We don't talk about Devil's Bay. We don't send ships there anymore. The water doesn't give back what it swallows." Lydia Brewer, daughter of fisherman Elias, recalled being a child in the 1970s. Dad used to sit on the porch and stare at the water. He said he could still see the cutter drifting like a ghost ship, but no one else saw it. Jonas Bellamy, a local lighthouse keeper in the 1990s, claimed he watched the lights rise from the water and circle the tower. They weren't flares, they moved like they had purpose. Theories abounded. Some scientists pointed to bioluminescent algae. Others suggested methane gas releases igniting. Skeptics accused locals of perpetuating a hoax for tourism, but folklore. Researchers found native stories of red eyes in the water spirits warning men not to trespass. The Penobscot people described fire circles that pulled hunters into the deep. It was never meant to be followed. Locals, however, held the simplest theory. The bay itself was alive and hungry. The lights did not stop with the old century. In 2003, divers Michael Harris and Derek Collin explored Devil's Bay. Harris resurfaced in shock, babbling that red orbs were opening under us like eyes. Derek never resurfaced. In 2011, a cargo vessel passing the bay suffered a 37-minute communications blackout. Several crewmen, including First Mate Jonah Reeves, claimed to see red lights pacing the ship, weaving in and out of the fog, moving against the wind. Reeves quit the sea entirely, saying only, "It knows when you see it." In 2022, fisherman Caleb Morton live-streamed his night on the bay. Thousands watched as faint red lights circled his boat. His feed cut abruptly. His vessel washed ashore. 2 days later, he was gone. Devil's Bay became a place of silence. Locals avoid it. Tourists are warned away. But the stories persist. Mary O'Hara, innkeeper in Rockland. Every few years, some fool comes asking about the lights. They think it's a ghost story. Then another boat goes missing. Peter Langford, former Coast Guard mechanic. I worked on cutter number 129 before it went missing. She was in perfect shape. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The sea took her. but not the way seas usually do. Father Andrew Collins, local priest, I've heard confessions from men who swore they followed the lights only to wake adrift days later. They said the voices they heard belonged to people long dead. They said they were lucky to escape. The rules of Devil's Bay are simple, and they are carved into the memory of Rockland's people. Never sail the bay after dark, never answer. Voices in the fog dot if you see the lights, do not follow. Some say cutter number 129 and its crew are still out there, trapped in endless fog, chasing lights that never let them go. Others believe the bay hungers, luring in the curious like moths to a flame. The truth remains hidden beneath its waters. The Coast Guard closed its file in 1968, but every few years, another boat drifts back empty. And every few years, the red orbs rise again. The bay notices, the bay remembers, and the bay takes dot. So if you ever find yourself sailing the coast of Maine on a foggy night, and you see glowing lights in the mist spray, they pass you by. Because once Devil's Bay chooses you, it may never let you go.